Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Or can I say that anymore? Yeah, I can. I can say whatever the hell I want. First of all, I want to give my condolences to the families of the 12 Marines that lost their lives because our well-organized government, the way they embarrassed the entire country in front of the entire world because we're incompetent as an administration. American citizens, our allies, should have been protected way before the military ever was pulled out. Had this been done in a manner that was organized, in a manner that was even so respectful to the Afghan people, there would be a lot less headaches. And that's been spoken on by many, many, many of people, journalists, both sides, politicians, both sides. In our history, at least in my history, I can't ever imagine where there was the most reckless use of the military I've ever seen in my life. We've been in many battles, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and it's always been more organized than this. How do I know this? Because we've never been in a situation before where the military, or what the administration, I should say, just pull the troops out in regard to the consequences to everybody else. I feel sorry for those military guys, those Marines that went in there to do a job, and our own government let them down. This is one of the dumbest administrations I've ever seen in my life. One of the absolute dumbest, asinine administrations I've seen in my life. Here's a point I want to make. The last time we lost several military troops was 10 years ago. Benghazi. Every time the Democrats are in power, they cannot seem to protect our people, our ambassadors, our Marines. Why is it when it comes to the Democrats, there's always some BS excuse why things cannot be done correctly? I do recall in Benghazi, no one can get in contact with Obama. It was only hours later that they got in touch with Hillary Clinton. From what I recall, Obama was somewhere playing basketball, some crap, before he made it back to the Situation Room in the White House. And this time, Joe Biden is AWOL. They couldn't find Joe Biden for days. Let me put it this way. Joe Biden didn't respond for days. He probably knew what was going on, but he had what we call an oh shit moment. He didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to do. So they needed time to prep him, prop him up, tell him what to say with his earpiece. And even with an earpiece in his ear, I'm sure he had to have practice at that as well. It's just getting ridiculous. From the turning of the country from when it was prosperous to the pathetic state we are in right now. You know, I was listening to a song last night, and it had 9 points in it. These 9 points are right on the nail's head. I mean, it's right on the nail's head. Most of you guys probably don't know who Tommy McDonald is, but he's a somewhat controversial rapper who is one of us. I want you to listen to this. It's probably about 20 seconds of a sound bite of this song, but it's Tommy McDonald, and I want you to listen to it and see and hear the familiarity of what's really going on with our country right now.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design. Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step
now,
2, infiltrate.
Every single one of those is exactly what's going on in this country. Every single one of those. No one can test that is not happening unless you living in La La Land. Unless you're living in La La Land, you don't understand what's going on in this country, or you live in a real world of naivete. Now, what's ironic is that it's created by one administration. You know, Biden tried to blame partly of what happened in Afghanistan on the Trump administration. You freaking coward. He's a freaking coward. He's a POS. He's a freaking coward. He did this. And anybody out there who thinks otherwise, you are a freaking coward, because you cannot accept the responsibility that you voted for the man who is destroying our freaking country and his administration. When the hell are you people going to realize and step up to the plate and say, hey, we screwed up? Instead, you want to sweep everything under the rug and blame it on the Trump administration. It's your football. You're the one that's screwing it right now. It's your football. I hate it when I hear Democrats trying to blame something from past generations. It's kind of like the blacks bringing up reparations and slaveries. 400 years ago. I don't care what happened 400 years ago. What I care about is, where are we at today? When people ask about racism, I don't care what happened during slavery. I'm going to be honest with you. As a black man sitting out here on a conservative talk show, I'm going to tell you, I don't care about racism. I don't care about historical racism. I've never been a man to live in the freaking past. You don't owe me anything for what white ancestrals have done to my ancestrals. You don't owe me jack crap. And nor do you owe anybody that's touting reparations. I'm so sick of hearing about how bad our country is, and everybody act like they don't know why it's so damn bad. It's so bad because people do stupid things like voting for stupid people and stupid agendas. We got everything from racism, critical race theory, stupid COVID. Here's something from COVID I want to ask people. You know, we keep hearing about the Delta variant, the Delta variant, the Delta variant. How do we know it's even a Delta variant? There's no test for it. There's no test for it. So how do they know it's Delta variant? Because according to the last PCR test that they use, they can't distinguish it whether it's COVID or the flu. per the FDA. Look it up. And they were going to change the PCR test. So we keep talking about Delta variant in COVID. How can you distinguish the difference? It's the same exact test. So I'm so sick and tired of this country running around in circles, chasing crap that really don't matter. Because to be honest with you, to me, racism doesn't matter. Let me tell you why, to me, it doesn't matter. It only matters to those who truly believe they're saving the puppy. And the blacks are the puppy. It only matters to those who's looking for an excuse to fight for something that really doesn't exist. I'm going to tell you right now, racism does not exist in the manner that they are speaking on the left. I was just in a meeting yesterday with several well up the ladder citizens of this great state of Utah. Guess what? I'm the only black man there. Guess what? They didn't ask me to sit in a corner. I sat at the round table, and I've done it many a times now as a black man where I'm the only one at that table. And guess what we didn't talk about? For the most part, unless I brought it up, and that was racism. See, there's a lot of us who don't really care and believe into the racism fallacy that's been used to divide the country. See, if you notice right now, racism is not that popular anymore. Because you know why? Because a cop hasn't shot a black man lately. So that's a tool that they can't use right now because George Floyd is dead, buried. Derek Chauvin is in prison. Now it's something else. Now it's COVID, forcing the vaccine down our damn throat in order to keep your job. You know, as far as I'm concerned, employees should go on strike before it ever happens. That's just my opinion. Employees and big strike because these corporations are getting kickbacks from the federal government for mandating their employees to get vaccinated. Oh, they're getting money. You better believe it. Somewhere down the line, they're getting a subsidy from the government. But if case in point, let's say, for example, Amazon. Let's pick on Amazon for a second. If everybody out there that worked for Amazon says, you know what? I'm not going to go to work today. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to go all of next week. Could you imagine if 100,000 employees did not do that for 1 week? Do you realize how big of a panic it would create? Especially if it become infectious. Especially it went to Amazon, then it went to Google. God knows if it was a Facebook, that would be a blessing. If it would go to all these big box stores that are trying to force their employees to be vaccinated, it would send the signal. We run this country, you do not. But right now, we let the countries think, these companies think they run us. Damn it, we're conservatives. We're Republicans. We act like we stand for absolutely nothing half the time. You know, I think I pissed Facebook off, by the way. My last episode was about COVID. I would say actually last week was about COVID. I basically disappeared off of Facebook as far as my likes, my emails. Oh, I think I pissed them off, but guess what? I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not like a lot of people. I think Facebook is everything to me. I will use that tool when it's available to me, but when it's not, I will figure out another way. Sometimes you got to learn how not to use the path of less resistance in life. Because there are times when that path may not be there for you. And when it's not there for you, that's when you have to learn how to improvise. That's when you become good at your game. See, Facebook is good at their game because of one reason. A lot of people are dependent on Facebook for their social behavior. I would simply say some people are addicted to Facebook. And when you have an addiction, it's really hard to see otherwise. But as far as this administration, something's got to change, people. Something has to change. I don't know what it's going to take for people to stand up and appreciate 2016 to 2020. In 2016 to 2020, we were booming. We ran like a country that had our crap together. It was the roaring 20s and 30s all over again. We were doing what we say, doing the damn thing. You know, and when I played that cut of that song a few minutes ago, I hope you really listen to the lyrics, because that's exactly how it's going. I didn't play that song because Tommy McDonald pays me money to play his clip. No, he doesn't. Any song that I play on this show is all about how it reflects how we think as a union. I said a few days ago on the last show that the administration is not destroying our country. We are. We are. Because every time, well, let me change up this. Let me ask this question. So when you voted for Joe Biden, were you voted for somebody who was representing the way you think and the way you want the country ran? Is it running the way you want it to be ran right now? Is he making you proud? Is he making you proud? You know, I hear so many people saying, God, I miss Donald Trump. I didn't vote for him, but they say, hey, I miss Donald Trump. I miss the good old days. You miss the days when you feel like you had a real president. Somebody that had your back. And then you watch people try to destroy this man for all the good things he's done. Now, what kind of crap is that? The man that comes in office and does what we want him to do, but he's been impeached twice. I haven't heard the word mentioned for his impeachment as far as Joe Biden. Not one damn time. Not even by the Republicans. Because you best believe if it was me, his ass would have been impeached so fast his head would spin. What we need to do is start writing our senators and our congressmen and let them know, if you do not speak about impeaching Joe Biden, even though you don't have the House and you don't have the Senate, we're done with you. Because you know it needs to be done. Who the hell are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Have we not seen enough in 8 months? Hell, imagine what the next 32 months is going to be like. Come on, people. What are we going to do? Sit around and get screwed? We talk about other people being sheeps. Hell, if we're not doing anything, we're just as big as sheeps they are. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. You know, I heard something today. Christy Nome, love her to death, love her politics, but today I have a problem with her. I don't know if you heard her today on the Buck and Clay show, but Clay got into her. Rightly so. She's not for passing a bill that stops corporations and businesses from mandating that their employees get the vaccine. You know, she would have had a point, but the Constitution was founded to stop tyrannical governments. That was one of the elements of the Constitution. That is the reason why the founders left Britain. To get away from a tyrannical society. And she says that she doesn't have the power to stop companies from mandating their employees from having to be vaccinated. Well, I will say this. So I guess it's okay that Facebook then can stomp on our First Amendment rights. So I guess it's okay then. So employers can do the same damn things that Facebook is doing just because they're an employer. Where in the hell in the Constitution said there was exemptions? Where? Where does it say there's exemptions? Where does it say exemptions that private parties can supersede the Constitution and tell you to do something you don't want to do, especially put it in your body? Tell me, because I don't know. I haven't heard this yet. Where? Somebody freaking tell me. Email me. Tell me. The minute we start kowtowing to these corporations and putting our First and Second Amendment and all the other amendments aside for somebody or someone else, we've got problems. We've got problems. And the only way to stop it, you got to do something. You've got to do something. But I want you guys to take a listen to that song. Find that song. It's Tommy McDonald, Brainwashed. Take a listen to it. And listen to the lyrics in your own free time and the whole entire song. My name is John Harvey. I'm the host of the Modern Conservative Podcast, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Harvey, and I'm your host of the Modern Conservative Podcast, and I'm that podcaster. For those of you that have been with me from the past few months, I appreciate you. I hope I don't offend anyone with the truth, and if I do offend you with the truth, well, then that's your problem, not mine. Because, you know, your opinion is your opinion, but it does not circumvent or supersede facts. There's a lot of people out there who like to enjoy feel-good moments because they can't live in the real world of pain. Well, I live in the real world, and I truly feel pain by what's going on in this world right now, what's going on in this country. Now, I could be one of these guys that says, you know what? Nah, that crap doesn't affect me. I have a pretty good life. I have it easy. Don't have a lot of stress. Let's screw the government. Let's screw the people. You know what? If they don't want to do anything, they get what they deserve. And at times I do feel like that. I do feel like people do not step up to the plate and help out. Just help out. And you can help out in many ways. All you guys out there, speaking of which, hold on. Guys, why is it there's mostly women right now who's doing the battling? Where are the men at? Where are the men? Not only have I noticed it, so have so many people I've dealt with. I've heard Mike Lindell speak on it. Where are the men in this country? Where are the men in this country? And don't tell me you're out there working for a living, because we all are. We all are. But I've never seen so many female soldiers fighting for the kids, fighting against the school boards, fighting mask mandates, running for office to try to make things right. Where are the men? I know where the black men are. They got ran off by LBJ in 1968. But we're coming back. Promise you, we're coming back. And as a country, together, we're all going to come back. But at some point in time, you got to pick a side. You've got to pick a side. You've got to draw that line in the sand. Say, you know what? Okay. These people have pushed it too far. It's time for us to be heard. Whether it's through me, through Sean Hannity, through Candace Owens, through Brian Hyde, through whatever means necessary. You got to draw a line in the sand. You have to have a limit. As an American, born and bred, you have to have a limit. And if you don't have a limit, you ask yourself, are you truly American? Do you truly love this country? Do you love the Constitution? Do you love the freedoms that your children have? Because you got to remember, as a parent with children, I'm 55 years old. I'm closer to death than my children are. In most cases. But am I going to sit around and leave my kid a mess without a fight? Really? Is that what we're going to do? As conservatives, Republicans, Americans, mothers and fathers, are we giving our kids a country that we didn't fight for? Hell, we got 12 guys in Afghanistan who died in a country that's not theirs, just so those could get out and be safe. So you tell me we can't fight for our own country in our own homeland, and it just happens to be against our own freaking government at the time. Are we so wrapped up in ourselves where we can't say, I see it coming. I see it coming. They take an inch today. Tomorrow's just another half inch. No, it's even a quarter of an inch. But you don't notice that quarter of an inch that they took. Then they're taking another quarter of an inch. Then it scales up, scales up, and scales up. Then the next thing you know, you are standing in the food bank because you can't feed your kids. Those of you out there who said, I'll never take the vaccine. If my work with my employer requires that I take the vaccine, they can go kiss my butt. Let me tell you something. That's all talk for the most part, for most people. It's all talk. It's all show. You're the same people that's out there saying, you know what? If they can take my guns, oh my, they're going to have to take them out of my cold pans. That's all talk. Because you know how it's all talk? Because I guarantee you 5 out of 10 of you haven't done anything to say or show that, hey, I put my money where my mouth is. Because as long as you don't put your money where your mouth is, to the government, you're just a follower. You're just a follower. And if you're saying that behind a mask, now you're showing you're a follower. Look, I get there's times when you have to wear a mask because it's about appeasement. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get what you really want. If you want to get on an airplane to go to Disneyland, Knoxville, you put a mask on. My thoughts are simply this. Why in the hell would you want to go to Disneyland when they're mandating all their employees get vaccinated? Let me make it clear to you, people. Let me make it clear to you. They're doing it because people like you that are not supporting what we stand for are going to Disneyland. They can do that because they'll still get support from the so-called people that say they won't put on a mask, but yet they get to Disneyland and guess what the frick they do? Put on a mask. I have not worn a mask till this day. No, I'm not bragging either. It's about principle for me. Now, excuse me, I did take my daughter to the hospital and I did have to put a mask on. And that was because of my child. That is it. That is it. Like I said, there's a time and place for it because sometimes you want to get through the situation and fight the situation and drag it on as far as your children. See, and this is what I'm talking about. Your children. I don't just fight for my children. I just don't speak on my children. I speak on all our children. I grew up in the country where it was good to be free, no matter who the president was. See, we didn't have this problem back in the day. Even the Democrats are not the same Democrats 20 years ago, 30 years ago. They're not the same Democrats. These people are extremists. These people are foreign. These people are in bed with other countries. You know, if you can sit in this country and pretend you don't hear what the crap that China is doing and how we are doing things in our country for the benefit of China, you're an idiot. We all know what's going on. Some of us speak out on it. Some of us make excuses and say, oh, no, that's not so. That's not so. It's kind of like people that wear masks. And I'm going back to this one more time because I just don't understand this mentality. I really don't understand this mentality. When there's millions of people in this country expressing how the mask doesn't work, why is it does not trigger in people's head, hey, let's see what they're talking about. Hey, let's just do something just simple enough to get in our little Google phone and look up the mask, the paper mask. Look up the science. I don't understand why people don't. When I'm in a store and I see people wearing masks, I don't know if to laugh at them or feel sorry for them because of their ignorance. And there's a lot of you out there who think the same thing as I do. Because we know. We know that mask doesn't work. It's like I had mentioned the other day. We go to war in chemical warfare with respirators on. When we go into a radiated facility, as far as a nuclear explosion, it's a respirator on. But when it comes to the world's most deadly virus, we're wearing a paper mask and our handkerchief or a bandana. Come on, people, really? And the government says it's okay. You should feel stupid for having that on your face because you're listening to them. When they tell you, a handkerchief or a face covering, actually, is just as good as a N95 mask, which is not 100% effective either. But it is less porous than the paper mask you have on your face that's meant to stop moisture, spit, and sneezing on the people. But here's a catch. Even when you sneeze, and if you have COVID, you actually blow it through your mask, in case you didn't know that. You actually blow it back out your mask because the virus is smaller than the pores in your mask. I know it's hard for some of you people to believe that. You think millions of us just pull that out of the crack of our ass just for the hell of it? No, it's the actual truth. The problem is you won't wake up. You won't wake up and say, hey, you know what? I just used a little bit of common sense. I feel free. If you're going to get it, look, wearing the mask or not, you're going to get COVID. And I hate to hurt your feelings. You're going to get COVID. If it's your time to get it, you're going to get it. But the good news is, check this out. You'll survive for the most of us because there's like a 98% recovery rate. That means you have a 98% chance of surviving COVID. Okay, let me make you feel a little bit better then. You have a 2% chance of dying of COVID. Maybe that'll make you feel better. You have a 2% chance of dying of COVID. Now, which variation of COVID you're going to get, I don't know, because there's actually no test for COVID, the Delta variant. They're still using the same old test. They're still using the same old test. How do they know? How do they know it's the Delta variant? Because obviously, no matter what variant it is, the mask is not working, nor the vaccine. People are still coming down with the COVID that are vaccinated. And that goes back to our dumbass administration again. The people who keep pushing this. People, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Okay. Education leads to graduation. And you will graduate to a mask-free society if you educate yourself. You know, somebody said to me a few weeks ago, if those damn people just take the vaccine, or if those damn people wear the mask, our numbers will go down. Wrong. Let's go back to education. Israel, 92% populated, vaccinated, 92% populated. Gibraltar, almost 100% populated. Those two countries, some of the highest cases of COVID in the world. So you say, then if they're vaccinated, why are their numbers so high? Well, common sense, if you tell you that the vaccinated ones are getting COVID. The vaccinated people are getting COVID again. And you hear it time and time here and again in the United States. But your people don't listen. You don't freaking listen. You don't stand up and say, wait, why in the hell am I wearing a mask if I'm vaccinated? Hey, why are we getting vaccinated if it doesn't work? Why are we getting vaccinated if I've already had the shot? Why are we catching the disease again, or the fungus, what I call it, if you're vaccinated? There's a lot of questions with answers to it. The problem is you don't ask the questions in order to get the answers. See how that goes? Now, You're not going to see me this week on Facebook. Because you know why? Because I'm talking about COVID. When I speak on COVID, nope. You do not see my program. But I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. So what I was about to mention about the administration, our administration is the one that's pushing this agenda. It's not the doctors pushing it. It's this administration. Because when you hear about doctors, the frontline doctors, now those are doctors against masks and against the vaccine. You don't hear much about them, even though there's thousands of them. Now, this conversation is most for those who keep telling me that we should get the vaccine or we should wear masks. This is who this conversation is for. When frontline doctors tell you the mask doesn't work, your vaccine is basically useless, because you will be pumping vaccines or whatever the hell they call it every single time there's a variant. Do you people understand this? If you're a vegan, if you're a vegetarian, if you do not take chemical medicines, listen to me and listen to me clearly. There's 2 other variants out there right now. There's also what's called the Atlanta variant. Every time they tell you there's a variant and you need to take a booster, are you really going to keep injecting your body with all these BS chemicals? You remember what they told you about the first COVID-19? They said, oh, yeah, COVID, you shouldn't have to do anything because it should cover the Delta variant. Well, first of all, how do you know there's going to be a Delta variant? Then how do you know it's going to cure it or suppress it? Some people, this is what make people feel really good about taking the vaccine. Is they say, well, it's supposed to suppress the chances of you catching COVID. No, I dare to differ. You know, the RNA, Dr. Robert Malone, who invented this vaccine technology, he's the one that's telling you you shouldn't be taking it, especially if you've already had COVID. So you people don't listen to frontline doctors. You don't listen to testimony from people who had problems with the vaccines. You don't listen to the inventor of the technology that created the vaccine, who's actually said, you know what, I could be making billions of dollars off this stuff right now. But he's telling people not to take it because no one knows how safe it is. So you won't listen to him. You won't listen to normal physicians who say don't take it, outside of frontline doctors. But you listen to one doctor, his name is Anthony Fauci, who said time and time and time again, first of all, the mask does not work. Education, 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 education. I just didn't wake up and pull my head off my pillow this morning and this stuff just jumped in my head. No. I took the time to learn this stuff before I'm speaking on it. Dr. Rand Paul, United States Senator, has been fighting Fauci tooth and nail, asking for the research, asking for the science. There's more science saying, hey, the mask does not work than there is saying that it does work. Unless you're pertaining to spitting on someone, sneezing on someone, coughing on someone, even coughing, the virus, if you're infected, will go through your mask and infect people. Because it's coming out of your lungs under pressure, and then it's forced through your mask. Do you guys understand how that works? If you're coughing and your mouth is open, it's compressed air basically being blown through your mask, which forces the virus through the mask, your paper mask. We're not talking about N95 because only very few people have the N95s. Everybody else is walking around with a damn sock on their face or handkerchief or that paper mask, then here's what's another thing. You wear that mask for 2 or 3 days. So when you touch something with that hand that's been diluted with COVID virus, and then you touch every damn thing else. Here's one for you people. You go pump gas. You touch all the keys. Now you've got a mask on. You have that pretty little blue mask on your face to tell the whole world that I know nothing about COVID. All I need to do is follow the doctor's order, Dr. Fauci's order, and I'm in compliance. Well, when's the last time you seen somebody cleaning off a gas tank, service tank, fuel tank at the gas stations? When's the last time you seen somebody clean off the keypads when you go to check out at a store? When's the last time you seen all of that? When's the last time? Somebody message me. Hell, I'll give you my phone or call me, 385-434-8648. Call me. Somebody tell me the last time they seen any of this stuff been practiced. Let me tell you why. Because that doesn't give the indication of how many people are wearing a mask. That doesn't give the indication of how many people are complying. Because when you wear your mask as you're pumping fuel at the fuel tank, you get in your car, you take your damn mask on, whoops, it's all over your car because you didn't use gloves. See, this is why you'll never get rid of COVID. One is because of the structure of COVID itself, the animal particles in COVID. But number two is there are so many ways to transfer this. It's so many ways to transfer this. If you know somebody who had COVID that wears a mask all the time, that should make you think. That should make you think. That should be your first red flag. If you wear a mask all the time and you come down with COVID, that should make you think. That's a red flag. But anyway, I've got about a minute or so left on the show, and I want to mention something. Next Thursday at 5 o'clock, I will have on as my guest Ammon Bundy. Good old American-made Ammon Bundy. He's a guy who put his mouth where his mouth is. Famous in the Northwest. I welcome you guys to sit in for that hour and enjoy a great conversation. Like I said, he's running for governor of Idaho right now. Good chance. He has a very good chance of winning. A very good chance of winning. Idaho is a conservative state. Boise is become more liberals, kind of like Salt Lake. But I think it's a conversation you do not want to miss. And that'll be next Thursday at 5 p.m. So until next time, have a great weekend. Love you all. This is John, the Model Conservative Podcast.